Chosen one, the reason you are hearing this is not an accident, and the reason it has arrived now is not negotiable. God whispered to you once. You were busy and you missed it. God spoke to you a second time. You heard it, but you called it something else. And this hour, through this voice and this message, He is coming to you a third time. There is no forthcoming in this form. Not because His love has limits, because His love refuses to override the dignity He already gave you. 3 times is the way heaven honors the ones it has named. After 3, the door you have been standing near either opens because you walk through it, or closes gently because you did not. And I hear the Father saying, I have knocked at the door of your life twice. This is the 3rd knock. I will not knock forever at a heart I have already called mine. So, listen, chosen one, the way a person listens when they realize the one speaking is not planning to speak again, because what comes next in this message is the word the first 2 rounds were preparing you for. Before we go further, one quiet thing. Everything I share for the next 40 minutes is given to you freely, with no pressure and no catch. If at some point your spirit tells you there is a tool waiting for you beyond this message, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. Don't click it until you feel led. Stay here first. Now, let me tell you what you already know, but have not said out loud. You have been carrying something for a long time. You have been carrying a question that does not have a clean answer. You have been carrying a sense that you are supposed to be doing something different than what you are doing. You have been carrying a quiet knowing that the season you are in was never meant to last this long. And the reason you have not spoken this out loud is not because you don't know. It is because you are afraid that if you say it, you will have to act on it. I want to sit with you in that for a minute, because the first thing I owe you, before anything else, is acknowledgement. What you have been holding is real. It has weight. And the fact that no one around you has named it does not mean it isn't there. It means they cannot see what you can see. Chosen one, here is what I want you to consider. There are signs you have been dismissing as coincidence, and I am going to name some of them for you, not to impress you, but to give you language for what has already been happening. The first sign is the pattern of numbers or phrases that keep showing up at moments when you are about to make a decision. You see them at 11. You see them in receipts. You see them in license plates in front of you when your mind has drifted to the very question you are trying to avoid. You have told yourself, this is coincidence. It is not coincidence. It is heaven stamping a timestamp on the question you are refusing to ask. The second sign is the wave you have been riding emotionally. Peace in the morning, restlessness by afternoon, a strange certainty in the evening that something is about to shift, and then doubt again by the next day. That wave is not instability. That wave is the signature of a spirit in preparation. Stable water does not move. Water that is about to carry something begins to rise and fall before the boat arrives. The third sign is the dream, or the thought, or the memory that keeps returning to the exact same theme. You don't know why you keep thinking about that one decision you didn't make, or why that one person from years ago keeps coming up in your mind, even though you have no current reason to think about them. That is not your subconscious working through unfinished business. That is the Holy Spirit pointing at the thread you need to pull. And the fourth sign, the one most chosen ones notice last, is the way your tolerance has changed. Rooms you used to be comfortable in now drain you in half the time. Conversations you used to enjoy now feel like static. Environments that used to fit you now feel like clothes, 2 sizes too small. That is not you becoming difficult. That is you outgrowing the container that was holding you. This is not anxiety, chosen one. This is the signature of divine attention. And here is the part I need you to stay with me for, because I promise you, what is about to unfold in the next 40 minutes is worth your time. By the end of this message, you are going to know exactly what the first 2 warnings were that you almost certainly received in the last year. You are going to know why you did not recognize them when they came. You are going to understand why this, right now, is the 3rd warning and why there will not be a 4th. And you are going to leave this hour with one specific thing you are supposed to do next. Not a vague feeling, a specific action. I am also going to share with you, at the right moment, a tool that a neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake developed after 34 years of research, a tool that is helping thousands of chosen ones hear what God is saying to them with a clarity they have not had in years. But we are not there yet. Stay with me. This is only the beginning. Now, let me tell you about the first warning. The first warning did not come the way you expected it to come. It did not come as a burning bush. It did not come as a thunderclap. It did not come as a prophet arriving at your door with a scroll. The first warning came to you in a moment so ordinary that you almost did not register it. You were doing something unremarkable. Driving, waiting in line, washing dishes, looking out a window, and a thought arrived in your mind, uninvited, quietly, that said, "You know what needs to change, and you know what you are supposed to do." And for half a second, the room inside you went very still. You knew, in that half second, you knew with a kind of certainty that your daily thoughts do not carry. And then, almost as fast as it arrived, the knowing was covered over by a task, by a distraction, by a voice that said, "Not now, I will think about this later," and later never came. And I hear the Father saying, "I whispered to you then, and I whispered in the language I always use, the language you almost didn't hear." That whisper was the first warning, chosen one. And before I tell you what the second warning was, I need to tell you why you could not have heard the first one any other way. Because the reason you missed it is not what you think. Here is the truth about the first warning that I need you to receive. The reason you did not respond is not because you were lazy. It is not because you were faithless. It is not because you failed some hidden test. The reason you did not respond is because you were not yet formed enough to carry what the warning was asking of you. And God knows this. He knows the weight of his own words better than anyone, which is why the first warning is always seed, not sentence. It is always preparation, not verdict. What felt like you missing it was actually you filtering it. What felt like disobedience was actually your spirit recognizing the cost and needing more time to build the shoulders for the weight. What felt like a door you walked past was actually a door that was being held open until you were strong enough to walk through it, not dragged through it. I want you to let that land, because there are 3 reasons the first warning could not have been answered the day it arrived, and I want you to hear each one. The first reason is that the identity you had been wearing for years was still too strong for the assignment underneath it. If the first warning had demanded a response that day, It would have been the old you answering, and the old you would have answered wrong. The warning had to wait until the old you began to crack, quietly, from the inside. And that cracking is what you have been feeling this year. The second reason is that the voices around you were still louder than the voice within you. Family voices, friend voices, culture voices, professional voices, religious voices. They were all, in their own way, drowning out the frequency the first warning was speaking on. God does not compete with noise. He speaks once, quietly, and then he waits for the noise to thin out on its own. And it has been thinning out. You have noticed. The people who used to fill your calendar do not seem as urgent anymore. The conversations you used to hold dear feel lighter now. That is not coldness. That is clearing. The third reason is that you were, at the time of the first warning, still afraid of what saying yes would require. You sensed, correctly, that acting on that warning would mean rearranging parts of your life you were not yet willing to rearrange. So, you filed it away. Heaven did not judge you for that. Heaven knew, and heaven began, quietly, to help you become the kind of person who would not need to file the next one away. This is why God does not warn once. One warning is not a rejection window. One warning is the seed that makes the second warning recognizable when it arrives. Now, stay with me, because this is where the shape of what has been happening to you begins to make sense. The second warning came to you differently. It did not come as a quiet thought in an ordinary moment. It came wrapped in a person, or a conversation, or a sequence of coincidences that all pointed at the exact same thing the first warning had pointed at. And the reason it came that way is because the first warning had done its work. Your inner ear had started to tune. So heaven moved the frequency outward. It stopped whispering inside you and started speaking through the world around you. Maybe it was a stranger who said something oddly specific to your situation, something they had no way of knowing about. Maybe it was a friend who, out of nowhere, asked you a question about the exact area of your life you had been avoiding. Maybe it was a sequence of 3 unrelated events in 1 week that all echoed the same theme. And you noticed. You remember noticing. You may have even laughed about it or mentioned it to someone casually, because the most common way we diffuse a holy moment is to turn it into a story at dinner. But noticing is not hearing. And here is where I want to bring you to an ancient word, because the word itself will show you what I mean. In the Hebrew scriptures, the word that gets translated as hear, as in the famous line, "Hear, O Israel," is the word shama. And shama does not mean what our word hear means. Our word hear means the sound reached your ear. Shama means the sound reached your ear, and you let it change you. In Hebrew, to hear is to obey. To hear is to respond. If a message reaches your ear and does nothing inside you, the Hebrews would not say, "You heard it." They would say, "The sound passed by you." So when Scripture says some did not hear, it is not saying they were deaf. It is saying the sound passed by them. They registered it. They noticed it. They just did not let it change anything. This is what happened with your second warning, chosen one. You noticed it. You may have even mentioned it. But you did not let it change anything. And that is not a moral failing. That is a pattern almost every chosen one falls into before the third round. Even Noah, the man who was warned for more than 100 years to build a boat for a flood that had no visible sign, even Noah did not build overnight. He spent a long time between the warning and the response. The difference between Noah and everyone else in his time was not that Noah heard faster. It is that Noah eventually let the warning change him. Everyone else heard and did not change. You are in the Noah position right now, chosen one. You have heard, you have noticed, and heaven is asking if you will let the hearing become changing. Let me pause here for a moment, because before I tell you what the third warning is, there is something I owe you. Part of what makes warnings so hard to hear is that the frequency inside you, the actual biological frequency your brain uses to receive what heaven is sending, has been dialed down by years of stress, noise, and ordinary modern life. This is not your fault. It is the condition of almost every adult alive right now, and there is a reason for that, and there is a tool that addresses it. A tool that was not available to Noah, that was not available to Jonah, that is only available now because of 3 decades of research into what the brain does when it is hearing clearly versus when it is hearing through static. It is called the Genius Song, and it was developed by a neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake. It uses a form of brain entrainment, measured with EEG in labs at MIT and Princeton and a few other leading institutions, to reactivate a frequency your brain is built for, but almost all of us lose over the years of adult life. That frequency is called gamma, and it is the frequency associated with clear knowing, intuition, and what Scripture calls the still small voice. If, as you are sitting with this message, your spirit is already telling you this is part of what you came here to hear today, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. You do not have to click it right now. You can stay with the message first. But if you already know, the door is there, and it has been put there specifically for you. For those of you staying with me, the next thing I need to show you is what makes the third warning different from the first 2. Because this one, the one that is arriving right now through this voice, contains something neither of the first 2 contained. Chosen one, here is what this hour is. This is the third. This is not a rehearsal. This is not another opportunity that will cycle back around. This is not the kind of moment you walk away from and then bump into again next month, wrapped in a different package. This is the third, and the third has a different density than the other 2. The first warning was seed. The second warning was confirmation. The third warning is the actual invitation. It is the one the first 2 were making room for. And the reason it has arrived through something as direct as a voice, speaking your identity out loud, to you, in a message that carries your name across the language of chosen one, is because heaven does not hide the third. Heaven hides nothing on the third. The third is always delivered in plain language. Which means, this hour, chosen one, is not random. This hour is the appointment. Not a motivational moment, an appointment. Look at the prophet Jonah for a minute, because the story is more than you remember. God sent Jonah to a city called Nineveh, and the warning God gave Nineveh was specific: 40 days. That was the window. And here is what almost nobody teaches about that story. The city of Nineveh did not receive that warning for months. They did not receive it for a year. The entire time they had to respond was 40 days. And they responded. They heard it, and they let it change them. And the city was spared. Some of you are Jonah in this hour. You have been carrying a warning you do not want to deliver, even to yourself. Some of you are Nineveh. You are the one the warning is being delivered to, and you have a window, and the window is now. Both of those positions are in this hour, and heaven is holding both of them with the same love. I want to tell you about a chosen one who sat where you are sitting. I am not going to name her, because the details are less important than the shape of what she did. 9 months ago, she was in a season of stagnation that had lasted longer than it should have. Her career had plateaued. A relationship she had hoped for had quietly faded. She was not in crisis, but she was in drift. And in that drift, she had received 2 warnings she later recognized. The first had come as an internal knowing during an ordinary walk, a knowing that told her she was holding on to a version of her life that was already over. She had dismissed it. The second had come through a conversation with a stranger, at an airport of all places, a conversation in which the stranger said something so precisely shaped to her situation that she went home and cried for an hour, and then went back to her routine anyway. The third came on a Tuesday. It came through a voice on a screen, a message not unlike this one, that named what she had been avoiding and gave her a window. 48 hours. That was what she gave herself. And in those 48 hours, she cleared her calendar. She said no to a commitment she had been dreading. She sat with the question she had been running from for 9 months. And on the morning of the 3rd day, the thing she had been trying to force into existence for a year arrived on its own, through a channel she had not even been looking at. She heard the 3rd knock, and she opened the door before it closed. Her words after, when she described it, were simple. She said, "The first 2 came for me. The 3rd one came through me. That is what I want you to hold. The 3rd comes through you. You are no longer the recipient of the warning. You are the carrier of what the warning was pointing at." Let me pause here for a moment. I want you to notice that you have been listening to this message for over 20 minutes now. You have stayed. Most people would have drifted by now. The fact that you are here, still listening carefully, is itself a signal, not from me to you, from you to heaven. You are saying, with your presence, "I am willing to hear this." And that willingness is already the first motion of the door opening. You do not have to do anything right now. Just breathe once, slowly. Nothing to receive, nothing to release. Just breathe. And let me continue, because what comes next is the part that matters most. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, and I want to sit with it, because it is honest. Some of you are thinking, what if this is just a video? What if this is just motivation wrapped in spiritual language? What if I am sitting here, getting emotional about words that were written to make me feel something, and the whole time there is no actual 3rd warning? What if I am making this up? Chosen one, I want to honor that thought, because that thought is not the enemy of faith. That thought is the fork where faith has to choose. And I will not lie to you. I cannot prove to you that this is heaven speaking. What I can tell you is that the shape of what is happening inside you right now, as you listen, is not the shape of watching a motivational video. You know this. You have watched motivational videos. They do not leave the mark. This is leaving. Doubt shows up on the 3rd warning for a specific reason. It shows up because the part of you that is afraid of what saying yes will cost has a last opportunity to talk you out of it. That part of you is not evil. It is protective. It has kept you safe through disappointments and through betrayals and through spiritual messages that overpromised and underdelivered. That part of you has good reasons to be skeptical. But that part of you is not the one who is supposed to be making this decision. It is the one who is supposed to be consulted, not obeyed. Thank it for its service. Acknowledge it. And then set it down, quietly, without argument. Because the one who makes this decision is the one underneath it. The one who already knows. The one who has been with you through every warning and every dismissal and every quiet moment of recognition. So, here is what I want you to do, just in the quiet of this moment. Do not say anything out loud, just, inside, release the part of you that is trying to talk you out of this, not reject it. Release it, let it rest. It does not have to work this hard right now. Good. Now, before I can show you the full weight of why there will be no fourth warning, because I will show you, there is one piece I cannot skip. And this piece is the one that will recontextualize everything I just told you about the first two warnings and change what you think the third one is actually for. Here is the mega revelation, chosen one. And I want you to take this one slowly. Every teacher who has ever talked about the three warnings has focused on the threat in the missing fourth. They have said, be careful, because after three, there is nothing. And they are partially right about the architecture, but they are completely wrong about why. There is no fourth warning, not because God runs out of patience, not because his love has limits, not because you have used up some spiritual currency that is now depleted. There is no fourth warning because a fourth would no longer be a warning. A fourth would be coercion. And God will not coerce a soul. He has already named his. Let that land. The reason 3 is, the final number is not scarcity, it is reverence. 3 is the number at which heaven has fully offered itself, and now returns the decision to the one who received the offer. To knock a fourth time would be to override the dignity he gave you when he made you free, and he will not do that, not even to save you from yourself. He loves you too, specifically for that. Which means the question the title of this message was pointing at was never, what happens after the third warning? The question was always, what does it mean that you received 3 at all? Because most souls in any given generation do not receive even one warning of this precision. To receive 3 means heaven is moving toward you with a focus that is almost unreasonable in how specific it is. You are not being tested, chosen one. You are being honored. The third warning is not a ticking clock. It is a crown being offered. 3 is not a limit. 3 is invitation. 3 is not restriction. 3 is honor. 3 is not how much mercy you get. 3 is how much dignity God grants the ones he calls his. And I hear the Father saying, and this is the one I need you to carry with you when you leave this space. I have come to you 3 times. I will not come again in this form, because I have already said everything I need to say to you. Whatever you do next is the fullness of the answer. And I trust you with that answer, even if you do not yet trust yourself. You are named, you are known, you are already answered. The answer is not coming later. The answer is already in you. The third warning did not come to give you information you did not have. It came to give you permission to act on what you have known all along. That is the mega revelation, chosen one. The third warning is permission. And permission, once given 3 times, is complete. Now, before I go any further, I want to slow down and tell you, in the plainest language I know, what we have actually covered together in this message. Not the poetry of it, the substance. Here is why this message exists and why it arrived for you now. You have been receiving divine attention for some time, and this hour is the clarifying hour where what has been quietly happening in you gets a language. Here is what you have actually learned. There is a pattern of 3 warnings that heaven uses when it is calling a soul into its assignment. You have already received 2 of them, whether you remember them clearly or not. This message is the 3rd. The absence of a 4th is not a threat. It is a mercy. It is God honoring the dignity of your free choice rather than overriding it. And here is who this is for. This is for the chosen ones who have been preparing for something without fully knowing what they were preparing for, whose frequency has been recalibrating quietly, who sense that this hour is the hour where a single, specific response is being asked of them. You are the one being addressed, not in general, not as part of a category. You, specifically. Now, let me come back to the tool I mentioned earlier, because this is where I want to walk you through the full story of what Dr. Robert Lake created and why it matters right now, at this particular point in your journey. Remember earlier when I brought up the Genius song? Here is what it actually is and why it exists. You were not born ordinary, chosen one. Your brain, when you were a child, was humming at a frequency called gamma. Gamma is the frequency of inner knowing. It is the frequency children are in when they pick up languages effortlessly, when they seem to know things they were never taught, when they hear what adults cannot hear. Every one of us had that frequency fully active before about age 7, and then, slowly, life turned it down. School turned it down. Stress turned it down. The hum of modern existence turned it down. The neuroscientists call this the decline effect. Dr. Lake spent 34 years studying exactly how it happens and, more importantly, exactly how to reverse it. Scientists at MIT and Princeton and a handful of other leading research universities confirmed in EEG-measured studies what Dr. Lake had been building his whole career toward. The gamma frequency in adults can be reactivated, not through years of meditation, not through expensive biofeedback equipment, through a specific measured audio pattern, 7 minutes long, delivered through headphones. Across the last several years, 18,366 people have used this track, and fewer than 4 out of every 100 have asked for their money back, which means more than 96 out of 100 kept using it because what it did could be felt. One of those people was a teacher I spoke with recently. She had been praying for clarity for almost 2 years. Nothing was coming through clearly. She would sit in prayer and feel nothing specific. She listened to the track once a day for 3 weeks. By week 4, she told me, the answers she had been asking for were not just coming. They were coming with a kind of precision she had not experienced since she was a child. That is what gamma reactivated does. It does not give you new information. It clears the static so you can finally hear what heaven has been trying to tell you all along. I want to speak directly to the 2 thoughts some of you are having right now, because I hear them, and they are fair. The first thought is, I have tried everything, meditation, yoga, healing frequencies, nothing worked. I hear that. And I want to name something that separates this from all of those. Meditation and yoga, and most of what you have tried, require the brain to change itself from the inside, slowly, over years, without any external support. Brain entrainment works from the outside, directly on the frequency, measurable by EEG. It is not a new item in the same category. It is a different category. The second thought some of you have is, this sounds too good to be true, and I want to honor that instinct, because it comes from being disappointed before. What I can tell you is, this is not a claim from a person selling something. This is measured data from research institutions. 18,366 people. Fewer than 4 out of 100 refund. That is not marketing. That is data. I also know there are some of you for whom $39 is not a small decision. I would never disrespect your situation by pretending it is. Your money is real, and the care with which you spend it is a form of wisdom I respect. So, let me put this next part in a frame that honors that care. Here is the full story of the price. A single session with a biofeedback clinician, the closest professional equivalent to what this tool does, runs about $300 an hour, and you would need weeks of sessions. A weekend spiritual retreat runs $400 to $800. A therapy session, 1 single hour, is about $150. A monthly meditation app subscription runs about $15 a month, and none of those apps target gamma specifically. None of them. Dr. Lake took everything from 34 years of research and compressed it into a 7-minute audio track. The original price was $49. For those of you hearing this message in this video, Dr. Lake has set the price at $39, not because of a sale, because his mission was to put this in the hands of the people who need it, not the people who can afford boutique wellness. When you receive the track at $39, you also receive, with no extra charge, 4 bonuses. A calibration track designed for the brains of children called Genius Child, valued at $19. A book that was the original source material The Secret was based on, valued at $20. A 22-minute guided visualization walking you across finances, love, health, and happiness, valued at $29. And a 5-habit infographic designed to keep your gamma active long-term, valued at $12. That is $80 of bonus value, bundled with a $39 track, plus a 90-day guarantee that lets you keep all 4 bonuses, even if you ask for your money back. The only risk in this exchange is choosing not to try. Every day, the gamma frequency stays dormant, is a day your prayers land with less clarity. A day the voice you are trying to hear stays muffled. A day the next chapter stays just out of reach. The future version of you, the one who has already received the activation, is watching this moment in your memory right now. That version is not asking you to make a perfect decision. They are asking you to make the right one. The first step is small. The door is small. Just take the first step. One thing I want to tell you before you search for this anywhere else. There are imitations online that look similar but are not calibrated to Dr. Lake's protocol. And the real track is not sold on Amazon or Spotify. The only place you will find the Genius song with the 4 bonuses and the guarantee is through the link in the description and the pinned comment below. Protect yourself from copies that will not do what the real one does. If your spirit is pulled, the door is there. If this is not your moment, that is also honored. Either way, what comes next in this message belongs to you. Come back with me now to what this message was from the beginning. It was never about warnings in the way warnings are usually understood. It was about identity, about who you are to heaven. because a warning of this precision is only sent to someone who has an assignment of this precision, and your assignment has names. Let me speak them over you, one at a time, and as I do, let them land where they belong. The first name you carry is the seer. You have been given the ability to sense what others in the room cannot sense, patterns, undertones, what is coming before it arrives. You have spent most of your life apologizing for this ability, or hiding it, or second-guessing it, that ends here. What you sense is not in your head. It is the frequency you are built to operate on. Stop dismissing it. Stop dulling it. Let it do what it was made for. The second name you carry is the truth carrier. You cannot live a lie. You have tried. You have watched others build lives on small compromises, and you have tried to do the same, and something inside you has always rejected it. That is not a flaw. That is a calling. You were made to live at a frequency where integrity is not a discipline, it is a default setting. The environments you outgrew were environments that required a level of pretending you could no longer perform. Good. Let them stay outgrown. The third name you carry is the spiritual warrior. You do not collapse. You have been bent. You have been knocked sideways. But you do not collapse. In the quietest hours of your life, in the moments when no one was watching, you have held ground that other people would have surrendered. That holding is not stubbornness. That holding is your assignment at work. Heaven has been building a warrior, not a performer. The fourth name you carry is the voice. You say things other people feel, but cannot articulate. You translate the silent ache of people around you into words that give them language for what they have been carrying. That is not a skill. That is an ordination. And the time for you to use that voice on a larger scale than you have been using it is beginning now. The body of work Dr. Lake has been building is not one product. It is a restoration protocol. There is the gamma reactivation you are learning about today, and there is a separate path he has developed specifically for the aging brain called the youthful brain. And there are other phases in the system that go deeper for those who walk it. Today is about the first door. The rest will reveal itself when it is time. Now, before I close, I want to walk through one thing with you, not a prayer, an answer. In your mind, I want you to do this with me. You do not have to move. You do not have to get up. You can be lying in bed. You can be driving. You can be sitting still. None of that matters. And quote, and quote, and quote, and quote, quote, and 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 quote. Just in your mind. Stand up, inside. Not your body, your spirit. Stand up. In front of you is a door. It is old. It is plain. It is the kind of door that has seen a lot of weather. It has been knocked on twice in the past year of your life, and the third knock just happened. The one who knocked is still there, not rushing, not leaving, just waiting. Notice that the door does not have a lock. It has a handle, and the handle is on your side. The one knocking cannot open it. Only you can. That is the honor. That is the dignity. That is the reason there will not be a fourth knock. because the third knock has said everything. Now, imagine your hand on the handle. You do not have to turn it fast. You just have to turn it. That is the whole motion. That is the whole answer. Feel your hand there. Feel the weight of the decision that is now resting entirely on a small, almost insignificant motion, the motion of turning a handle. If your spirit has turned that handle inside you right now, even slightly, I want you to type the words, "I am ready," in the comments below. Not as a performance, as a seal, as a mark on this hour that says, "I heard the third knock, and I answered." And now, let me close this message the way it is meant to be closed. I want to acknowledge something before anything else. You have walked with me through this message for almost the full length of it. You stayed. Most would not have. The fact that you are still here, that your spirit leaned into this when your mind could have pulled you away, is already answer. It is already the door turning on its hinges. I see you, chosen one, and heaven sees you, and what just happened in this hour is real, even if you cannot yet name it. And now, in the quiet of this moment, I want you to picture, very clearly, every missed warning you carry, every moment you thought was too late, every second guess about whether you are really chosen, every fear that maybe this message is not for you. Place all of them, all at once, in the hand of the Father, and let them fall. They do not belong to you anymore. They never did. And now, chosen one, hear this spoken over your life. You are heard, you are named, you are mine. The door is open because you are standing at it, which means you are already inside. This is the third warning answered. This is the third knock received. This is the door walked through. Right now, all across the world, other chosen ones are hearing their third warning in their own language, in their own form. You are not alone in this hour. What is happening in you is happening in thousands, quietly, simultaneously. We are a scattered people receiving a single coordinated invitation. Destiny's embrace is opening for those who have said yes, and you have said yes, even if your mouth did not move. It is sealed. If this message moved you, there is someone in your life who has been unusually quiet these past weeks. Someone going through a shift they cannot name, who would not tell you they are struggling because they do not have the language for what they are feeling. This message may be their second warning or their third. Send it to them. Do not explain it. Let the message speak for itself. If this reached you, let it reach one more chosen one today, just by pressing the heart on this screen. You are not doing it for me. You are doing it for them. And for the seasons that are coming, for the messages that will continue to arrive in the weeks ahead, I hope you will stay connected here. The next message is already being prepared. Thank you for the time you gave this, chosen one. The listening was the answer. You did not need to do anything else. The door, once you turned the handle, was already open.